Okay, this is Russell Cook. I'm actually redoing this stream because the version I recorded on StreamYard sounded terrible. It's a bunch of dropouts in the audio. And with this, before I post it, I can actually check and make sure nothing like that has happened. So yeah, StreamYard, terrible program. YouTube, shitty site. But anyway, I'm using both. Although now I'm just recording. So anyway, this stream is dedicated to the band Devo. Now Devo, the idea started rather darkly by Bob Lewis, who was not a member of the band, and Jerry Casale, who was. Formed the theory of de-evolution after a friend of theirs, Jeffrey Miller, was killed. They were attending Kent State University, and you know the song by Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, Four Dead in Ohio? Sorry. Four Dead in Ohio? Their friend. Wow, my voice is just doing... I guess it's because I'm having to redo this. I'm just kind of like being goofy. But anyway, I'm sorry. This is very serious. A friend of theirs, Jeffrey Miller, was one of the 4 people killed. So a good idea, the theory of de-evolution. Why not start a band around it? So Jerry Casale meets Mark Mothersbaugh, and they seem to hit it off really well and have a lot in common. And they both are musicians. Mark, keyboardist, synthesizer player, Moog, mini Moog expert, and Jerry, bass player, interesting bass player in that he plays left-handed, but he just plays a right-handed bass left-handed. He doesn't restring it or anything like that. So the highest string is closest to him and the lowest string is closest to his feet. So it turns out that Mark and Jerry have brothers that play guitar. Bob Mothersbaugh and Bob Casale, rest in peace. So Bob Mothersbaugh is known as Bob 1. Casale, known as Bob 2, to avoid any sort of confusion. And in their very early days, Jim Mothersbaugh, another brother, was their drummer. And he actually built his own drum machine back in like 1974. That's pretty amazing. Did I mention Devo was from Akron, Ohio? I hope I did. I hope I didn't leave that out because that's very important to, especially the early stuff in the first album. But anyway, yes, from Akron, went to Kent State, which is, from what I understand, in Kent, Ohio. So yeah, Jim Mothersbaugh on hand-built drum machine. He was such a electronics genius that he wound up working for Roland. Yes, the Roland, the beloved synth amplifier, you name it, company. But he left and was replaced by great drummer Alan Myers, rest in peace. So this is early Devo. And early Devo did a lot of stuff on like Private Press, small labels, the UK label Stiff, several other labels I'd never heard of. I think they even had their own label called Boogie Boy Records. And Boogie Boy, beloved character among fans of Devo. Good news, you don't have to worry about finding all these obscure, very expensive private press shit that would probably be, like, I don't know, like thousands of dollars. Hardcore Devo, volumes 1 and 2, streaming everywhere. Spotify, Apple, you name it. YouTube. You can check out all their early stuff. And one that I'm a big fan of I'm not trying to just like brush over Hardcore Devo Volume 1 and 2, because trust me, that stuff is good too. But an excellent compilation of three different shows, three different live shows from 1977, 1976, and 1975. Yep, going backwards, devolving, as it will, is Live the Mongoloid Years. Excellent live album. And I gotta say that the live version, it's not credited, but the intro to Chango and to Bamboo Bimbo is one of my favorite things by Devo. And all this live stuff is really good because they were a really tight live band. And besides the extra gloss and instruments and stuff you can add to studio stuff, they sound like really, really tight and good live. There's not a lot of mistakes, if any, on anything. And they're actually more energy live. Tempos are slightly faster and stuff like that. And it's a fun listen. Live the Mongoloid Years, one of my favorite live albums. And I'm comparing it to Allman Brothers Live at Fillmore East and Live Dead by the Grateful Dead, Skull and Roses by the Grateful Dead. I mentioned Velvet Underground live with Lou Reed, that kind of stuff. Yeah, this is a very good live album. Live the Mongoloid Years. And let's finally get into when Devo starts climbing that ladder of fame, fortune, success, groupies, drugs, alcohol, Fairlight synthesizers, you name it. First album to come out on pretty big label, Warner Brothers Records, is Are We Not Men? We Are Devo. That came out the 28th of August, 1978, which is cool because that was like a day after my second birthday. This album, outstanding. I can't say enough good stuff about this. When you hope that a first album by a band is going to be really good, this is kind of like what you're looking for. Exactly, is this. It's produced by Brian Eno and Connie Plank and engineered and mixed with assistance from David Bowie. I had no idea about that. I read that on Wikipedia. And, you know, I researched this shit. Excellent first album. I've got to say the standout track on it is Jocko Homo. Was that Devo's statement of purpose, mission statement? Possibly. It's just a great song. It's really catchy. That's the thing about Devo, is they're considered new wave, but a lot of these songs, classic pop hooks. And I saw, once again, rest in peace to Bob too, but I saw one of those, I think it's Premiere Guitar or whatever videos, and Bob Mothersbaugh, his main guitar was a Gibson Michael Bloomfield Les Paul. So he definitely, I'm going to guess, was inspired by all the greats from the 60s blues boom. Peter Green, Eric Clapton, Jimi Hendrix, Michael Bloomfield, of course, and probably many more. Because this was a really good band. I don't know if they get enough credit for being a really great band, but definitely knew how to play. But yes, the first album is about as perfect as you could possibly want a first album to be. Standout track, Jocko Homo. But, like I have said, whole album, excellent. I don't think you're going to want to skip any tracks or anything like that. And it's not very long. It's only like about 35 minutes long, so that's not bad. Then we get on to album number 2, which is my personal favorite, Duty Now for the Future. That came out on the 1st of June, 1979. That was produced by Ken Scott, who's known for his work with the Beatles and Pink Floyd and Probably a bunch of other bands that I'm leaving out. But yeah, this is my favorite Devo album. Duty Now for the Future. Standout track to me is Blockhead. And there's a 2010 version that I would love to have, but it's really collectible now in CD format. But I do know on Apple and probably on Spotify and Deezer and all those other sites too, YouTube, Red, that the bonus track version is the version that you can stream. Because at the bonus tracks, there's this one song called Penetration in the Centerfold. That's a great song, but it was a B-side or something like that. It never came out on an album until like the 90s or something like that. But anyway, Duty Now for the Future, Blockhead, highly recommended song. So yeah, if you have to, listen to Jocko Homo from the first album, Blockhead from the second album. And I've got an interesting story of about a year ago, I ordered Duty Now for the Future on CD. I did have it on CD years ago, but there's a whole long story involving selling stuff and having a girlfriend dump me right before Christmas and stuff like that, which I'll wait till around Christmas time to tell that story. Real happy one. But anyway, I ordered Duty Now from the Future from Walmart for $12. So I'm like, yeah, that's not bad. I ordered it on CD. They sent me the vinyl. A magenta colored vinyl of this. And it's packaged like the original album was. Same inner sleeve, same artwork, and all that kind of stuff. So I didn't get fucked. I actually got more than what I had bargained for by ordering it from Walmart. So yeah, if you're looking for certain things on vinyl and CD, check out walmart.com. And maybe one day they will sponsor my stream. That's fine with me. I love Walmart. I love their groceries and stuff like that. So yeah, I got something on vinyl. I'm going to guess the vinyl was at least $10 more than the CD. But anyway, I'm kind of rambling and reminiscing a bit too much. Now this, album number 3, came out in 1980. I forgot to write down the exact date. Freedom of Choice. Produced by Robert Margouleff. I hope I pronounced that right. And Devo themselves. This is the album with Whip It on it. This is them hitting the big time. It's a great album. Highly recommended. Track I would pick off of this one is Girl You Want. So Jocko Homo, Blockhead, and Girl You Want. Recommended tracks. Yeah, and Freedom of Choice, it's a very good album. I decided to cover the early days of Devo, like the right before, and then like when they got really big, because I don't really know any of the albums after that all that well. I know some of the songs and stuff, but I just kind of know like the early hardcore Devo, Mongoloid years, and the first 3 albums, Devo, the best. So that's what I'm talking about. And being a multimedia band, pioneers of music video, as a lot of people have called them, they've got some cool stuff you can watch too. Truth About De-Evolution, a short film, 9 minutes, filmed in May of 1976, is very good. All the songs on it are cool, and you get to see the beloved Boogie Boy, which is Mark Mothersbaugh in a really demented looking mask, but, spoiler alert on that one. I had a home video years ago, VHS format, The Men Who Make the Music, which had the Truth About De-Evolution and a bunch of other stuff, like live performances and stuff like that on it. That was very good, but I learned that there is something called The Complete Truth About De-Evolution, which is DVD, Blu-ray, and that has a bunch of stuff on it. Like every video they've made, like minus one or two. Like one, because they did a cover of Are You Experienced? The Hendrix estate wouldn't let them use it for some reason. But we all know about the Hendrix estate. Or if you don't, might want to read up on them and maybe not buy anything from them. Just buy used copies or just stream the stuff, you know. They don't really need to do what they've been doing with the Jimi Hendrix legacy, in my opinion. So yeah, and of extra added interest, check out the film Island of Lost Souls from 1932. Let's see, what else do I have here? This Devo Easy Listening Disc. Now this was done by Mark Mothersbaugh, and if you are a younger person than me, you probably grew up watching Rugrats and stuff like that. Well, Mark Mothersbaugh did all the music for Rugrats. He's got his own studio, Mutato Music, I believe. He has done it all. So if you were young watching Rugrats, you were kind of listening to Devo without even realizing it. And the Easy Listening Disc is great because it's an easy listening version of all their big hits, even Whip It. And it took me a while to find a copy of that because it's one of those out of print, expensive kind of things, and it's been reissued several times. It was a 2-volume cassette only thing for a while. Came out on CD on Rykodisc in 1987. That's what I have. And it was reissued a while back as I think it was a 2 CD thing again. Maybe with more stuff, I don't know. But it was like in a super deluxe edition that was pretty expensive. And I, unfortunately at the time, didn't have the money for stuff like that. So, Devo, check them out. Something came out last year, 50 years of de-evolution, 1973 to 2023. That might be what you want to check out because I was looking at it. It is filled with all the hits and some rarities and stuff like that. And I will probably eventually purchase it because it looks really good. And the CDs look packaged very nicely and stuff like that. And Devo is one of those bands, like I was mentioning earlier, you can get their stuff on vinyl if you're into vinyl. If you're like me and still into CDs, you can get their stuff on CDs. Certain versions of certain CDs will be pretty expensive though, so you always got to watch out for that. But thank you, Devo, for existing, still being around. Mark and Bob Mothersbaugh, Jerry, and rest in peace, Bob Mothersbaugh. Sorry, Jerry and Bob Casale. Rest in peace to Alan Myers, too. But Devo's still doing it with Josh Freese on drums. And I don't know if they replaced Bob, too, or not. I would have to. I did not write that down. So I would have to check that out. But anyway, hey, this is a lot shorter than the one I did for StreamYard that sounded so bad. So I was able to shave off 10 minutes. Not bad. So this is Devo, everybody. I like them a lot. If you like them a lot, let me know in the comments. If I left out anything massively important about the early days, because I figured that would be like a good, start off like the early days, them at Kent State, and then bam, wind up with their mega hit Freedom of Choice album and Whip It hit single. And then the stream ends, and I thank you for listening to it, and I hope you'll at least check out Jocko Homo, Blockhead, and Girl You Want. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.